Hello everyone, today we will discuss about world politics, and today in this lecture of world politics we will discuss about Cold War. So I am Ayush Kumar, welcome to Edisol, and today let's begin with our first topic, that is Cuban Missile Crisis. Friends, in October 1962 the Cuban Missile Crisis held. The Cuban Missile Crisis of October 1962 was a direct and dangerous confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Friends, this crisis was noted in the history of Cold War as the peak point of the Cold War. Here, this crisis started in 1961 when Russian President Nikita Khrushchev was afraid that America would invade Cuba, which is a communist-ruled country. At that time, Fidel Castro, who was a communist ruler, ruled Cuba. As Nikita Khrushchev was afraid of this, he imposed nuclear missiles and powerful weapons in Cuba and made Cuba a Russian base. He also sent warships to Cuba for the protection of it. After the 3 weeks of this arrangement, America got known about it. Now America got confused. Now what to do? Now America was in danger from the very near place, that is Cuba. Cuba was just below America. Now America and Russia both do not want it to have any another world war, because the war which would be going to held was the nuclear war, and this destroyed the whole world and no one will be alive to see the war. Now America decided to frighten Russia by imposing the warships around Cuba through the sea base. By this action of America, Russia took off his weapons and armed forces back to Russia. This whole crisis was known as the Cuban Missile Crisis. Friends, Russia was afraid of Cuba in 1961 while he imposed the weapons in 1962. These two dates are given in the NCERT book of class 12th political science. Now let's know about what is the Cold War. So the Cold War referred to the competition, tensions and a series of confrontations between the United States and the Soviet Union. Fortunately, it never escalated into a hot war, that is a full-scale war between the two superpowers. The Cold War was not simply a matter of power rivalries of military alliances. Now friends, during the Cold War there were two alliances. First is the Western and second one is the Eastern Alliance. The Western Alliance was headed by the US, which was named as NATO. The full form of NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, while the Eastern Alliance was Warsaw Pact, headed by the USSR, that is Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, also known as the Soviet Union. Now the story of the alliances we have discussed during the Cold War. Now let's start how the Cold War situation or the Cold War era emerged. So without any delay, let's get into the beginning of the Cold War. Here in the beginning of the Cold War, we will firstly discuss about the World War II and its end. The end of the Second World War is a landmark in the contemporary world politics. In 1945, the Allied forces led by the US, Soviet Union, Britain and France defeated the Axis powers led by Germany, Italy and Japan, ended the Second World War, which was 1939 to 45. The war had involved almost all the major powers of the world. The war devastated the world in terms of loss of human lives and civilian property. Friends, this war, that is the World War II, involved the whole world, that is complete Europe, Southeast Asia, China, Burma and the parts of India's northeast. The end of the Second World War was also the beginning of the Cold War. World War ended when the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, causing Japan to surrender. Friends, I have made a video related to the Hiroshima and Nagasaki incident. So just check it out. I'll provide the link in the description box. Just click on it and go to the video to get more information about the incident of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Now let's proceed. So friends, this incident of Hiroshima and Nagasaki led Japan to surrender. Friends, we will discuss this topic in another video. Now let's concentrate to our topic of Cold War. Now friends, with the defeat of Germany and Japan, the devastation of the Europe and in many other parts of the world, the United States and the Soviet Union became the greatest powers in the world, with the ability to influence the events anywhere on the earth. While the Cold War was an outcome of the emergence of the US and the USSR as the two superpowers rival to each other. The destruction caused by the use of atomic bombs is too costly for any country to bear. The logic to use the nuclear bombs was simple but powerful. When the two rival powers are in possession with the nuclear weapons capable of inflicting death and destruction unacceptable to each other, a full-fledged war is unlikely. That means the both countries are against of doing a war or fighting a war. Now let's know about what do you mean by logic of deterrence. If one of the two countries in war try to attack or disable the nuclear weapons of its rival, the other would still left with enough nuclear weapons to inflict the unacceptable devastation or destruction of the other country. So this is simply known as the logic of deterrence.